Greetings. Welcome in this breakout session. My name is Eric de Witte. I'm a solution architect at Vmware, working in Belgium, focusing mainly on Brussels and Flanders area. In today's session, I'll talk to you about software-defined data center and cloud and what we have to offer in this world and how we can potentially help you together with sales in your project in IT. Many customers are using VMware technology. Thank you for that. Let me first bring you up to speed and update you on where we stand today. What you can see right now is our current vision and where we focus on. That is fundamental because that also gives you an idea on how we approach the market, how we structure ourselves internally, where we invest in research and development, right? And you see that central in that picture is applications, which is what you use to run your business. So it's really like key element. In this layer, we'll see different types of applications. You will have the traditional applications, what our customers mainly run in their data center nowadays, right? And then you've got this new breed of application called cloud-native applications, which, well, tend to be designed to operate on cloud, but you will see pop up in your own data center as well. The last one being, software that you just consume off the cloud, like software as a service. And our customers nowadays kind of consume a mix of all of them. For your information, we help you run those applications. We also are able to help you design and write those applications. I'll come on that later. Those applications will be accessed by client software, remote device. And this is the concept of any device, where we've got a portfolio of solutions that are meant to help you manage and deploy those elements and control, secure them. But the application eventually runs somewhere, either in your own data center, either at a hyperscalers in the cloud, at some service providers. That's why we've got solution depicted on this picture as well, where we can definitely assist you in your own data center, but we also have technology and solutions to help you run and manage in the cloud, at the edge. We even have some telco solutions where some big players are leveraging our technology, to provide you with that network of tomorrow, like the 5G world. We do a lot of research and development internally, a lot of very active software developers within VMware, but we have also a very active merger and acquisition approach, right? And this is like an overview of a few of them. And we have split them on this chart based on kind of the focus area. Some of the main ones are at the upper layer that is on modern applications. Companies like Bitnami, Pivotal, Heptio, Wavefront bring us a lot of capabilities in the world of modern application development. I'm not going to cover that today, but still very interesting topic. I'm going to focus more on the multi-cloud and networking layer, where we have developed like some very interesting capabilities there. Many of our customers know us for server virtualization. We're still, very good at it and improving there and further developing that. But actually today we also have solutions for customers who don't have any data centers, who don't have any vSphere running, and rely solely on hyperscalers to run their workloads. Not many customers know that. One of the strengths of VMware in merger and acquisition is not just buying a company, but actually making it work within our portfolio, integrating that in our portfolio, and making that available to our customers as useful technology and solution to assist them in their transformation. The scope of possibilities is just huge there. But let me come back on the topic of the day and the software-defined data center and connecting to the cloud. What we have seen definitely for years already is that IT is continuously evolving. And that evolution is driven also by some external factors. And unfortunately, last year, we've seen that we've been faced with some challenges, right? That has forced us to change the way we work, to change the way we address customers, right? And some companies have been better positioned to cope with that than others. In that, there is an aspect of technology, there is also an aspect of people and processes. One of the issues that we see a lot at customers, and I expect you face as well, is like, how do you serve IT resources to your consumers, right? What is their experience when they have to request something from IT? And many customers, well, you know, it's based on ticketing system, and then praying, hoping that it will be delivered soon or fast, right? And sometimes it's not that fast. At the same time, the challenge for IT themselves can be annoying, right? Like a lot of operators doing firefighting, fixing the issue of the day, IT facing, well, the challenge might be like maintaining cost under control, like capital expenditures, operational expenditures, like how can you work more efficiently? This is some of the challenges we are able to help with. What I would like to discuss with you is how can we practically go from, you know, like a traditional data center and then make it evolve to help you bridge the gap with the cloud. Because, you know, obviously today we've got resources at hyperscalers, the likes of Amazon and Azure, that can give you IT resources like on demand, limitless scalability. So why not move everything to the cloud? Which is a challenge in itself because, you know, cloud does not work as data center. You need to transform your application for that. So how can we bridge that gap for those workloads that cannot easily be transferred to the cloud? And that is what I would like to, you know, go through with you in this session. Looking at traditional data center, we'll see definitely like a traditional approach. We know compute layers, storage layers, networking layers, and then all the application on top of that within a data center, and then with some, you know, teams and processes in place. What we propose is to change that paradigm to some degree and have it like really like pooling resources. Like we do with virtualization, we just pool the resource and consume as needed. And that is something that we've done with a lot of customers a lot at the compute layer, and that we propose to help you with as well on the other layers, being storage, network management, lifecycle management, and all those layers. The idea there is we'll help you increase efficiency, you know, take better control of cost, but also increase agility, flexibility, getting access to resources when and where you need them. And this is something that is very modular in approach. We can start small, right? You've got the working area already. We just, you know, improve on the storage layer. And this is why we step in with the hyper-converged approach, right? Compute and storage within one service, and we just pool them and consume them as needed. The next level in the game is like, okay, we've done that for server and storage. Can we do that for networking as well? Can we have networking on demand, right? And then management layers, monitoring, capacity monitoring, capacity planning, dynamic allocation of resources, continuous optimization of tuning of parameters, lifecycle management of this whole stack, and then also like, well, I've got those new types of workload coming in, so I need to have those new platforms like Kubernetes-based, container-based platforms, right? And this is something that we can definitely deploy within your environment. Now that stack is a proven stack. It's a successful stack, and somewhat a proof point of that stack is actually running at all major hyperscalers. So this VMware technology stack is available at Amazon, at Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, IBM Cloud. You will find it even in Oracle Cloud, Alibaba Cloud, and then a lot of other VMware certified cloud providers. That is very interesting because then you can consume them as a service. And these leverage the same technology, so there is no transformation needed to move your workload from on-prem to the cloud or back, right? Nowadays, we even have the possibility to do vMotion to the cloud and back, right? Some conditions apply, but we can definitely make that work. The benefit of this approach is definitely that we can assist you in deploying those technology and deploying resources but also changing the paradigm of the operation model. And I'll come back on that a little bit later. And then really like scale and optimize the resource consumptions. This solution is really interesting in terms of its scale. It is designed to run in data center. We can do really full-scale data center deployments, massive scales. But we can downscale that for edge use cases, sorry for that one. To give you an idea, we've got deployments in submarines, on cruise boats, airplanes, right? But also just warehouses, small remote sites, and so forth. And at the other side of the scale, we've got the humongous scale of hyperscalers, right? The idea there is having a consistent infrastructure, consistent operation across the board makes your life in operating all of that way easier. How do we do that? Well, we leverage software. VMware is a software company. We write software day in, day out. We've got a huge amount of coders internally that write that software. And the idea there is to bring that strength of the software in your environment to allow you to leverage intelligence in those layers, abstraction in those layers, so that you can now work in another way by leveraging what we call like policy-based management. I did mention storage as one of the main elements. And in this case, we've got the VSAN technology. Actually, you already have that technology in your server. It's just a question of activating a license and then having the right resource, like disks in your service, and off you go. So this one is pretty easy to step into because we can just easily assess your environment, give you an idea of how it would look like with vSAN. And it's not one or the other. You can then mix those environments. So you can, for example, purchase new servers, equip them for vSAN, connect them to the old storage, and transition that over time. That will serve your needs for the traditional like block I/O, virtual machine I/O, but can also serve for file shares and also for the new workload container-based storage. What's interesting is the granularity, the speed and the ease of managing those environments. As your environment grows, you can make vSAN growth with it. You run more VMs, just add storage as needed. You need even more while you just scale the cluster out. And in terms of scaling out today, one VMware cluster can go up to 64 nodes. With the latest version, we can scale them to 96 nodes. And then we can leverage multiple clusters and mesh them together. So scale is definitely not an issue there, but you've got the full granularity of growth and management, which is very interesting. The benefit that you get with that is this concept of policy-based management, where you will be able to define policies per VM, per object, that is per disk in that VM and so forth. And this is kind of a contract, an intent that you set on the system where you say, this is what I need for that VM to work properly. And these needs may change over time. So just all you have to do is just change the policy, tweak it as you need. And the system will then make it happen in the background for you. The granularity of that being per VM is very interesting in management. Now, we've done that for the storage, and if you want more information on that, we can definitely have a follow-up session specifically on the storage part. What is even more impacting is the networking part. Today at VMware, we are a major networking player. We have this portfolio of technology that allows us to do layer 2 to layer 7 networking. So switching, routing, firewalling, application delivery controllers, load balancing, web application filtering, service mesh within the data center on the cloud. We also can do software-defined wide area network, right? Helping you manage those massive remote sites, amount of remote sites from within one control plane, right? And software-driven. Very, very strong capability there. Many customers know us for virtualization, so many customers link us to the concept of a virtual machine. Actually, that technology is not limited to virtual machines. It's going to be applicable to virtual machines, containers. We also do bare metal workloads, but we'll do also cloud management and security there. One of the key benefits of introducing the likes of VSAN and NSX in your environment is that actually, as it is software, it will present APIs, application programming interface, meaning that you can interact with them through coding. And that helps for automating elements. If you look at networking in general, you can already automate that to some extent. Condition your environment, the technology you use allows that. What we provide here is really like full REST-based API for the whole set that can be combined and made very efficient in one command, right? For most customers, they might not directly leverage that API, but the result is that automating full-scale deployments is way easier nowadays. For example, try to figure out what would it mean in your environment if you had to deploy a new application landscape. Like this one, where I've got a load balancer going to a web front end that needs to be secure, like DMZ concept, that then talks to a backend database. And that database having, like storage resource needs. What you see here is just a screen capture of one of our automation solutions, where you see the deployment in a graphical view, but also in an infrastructure as code view, right? And in this case, I'm using VMware technology and VMware resources, but the same technology can be used to automate deployment on hyperscalers like Amazon, Azure, Google. We can even make those blueprint cloud agnostic. This automation management layer, by the way, is also technology that we make available, like the rest of our portfolio, as software that you can deploy on premises or just consume as a service, like SaaS-based, right? And that makes it very accessible as well for small to mid-sized customers, where in the past that was constrained to larger enterprises because the initial investment to set it up and configure it was, of substance. Today, I've got these solutions running for SMB customers. And that opens a new world, right, of possibilities. And I did mention hyperscalers. And one of them is Microsoft Azure. So let me just show you a small screen of capabilities in the concept of the Microsoft Azure VMware solution, which is a Microsoft offering. That is a service coming from Microsoft. If you're interested, ask Silos and Microsoft, because we, from VMware, will not sell that service. It's a Microsoft service. But you see that it's really integrated in the Azure environment. It's running in the Azure data center. You manage that. You request and consume that through the Azure portal. And that is why you see the full VMware Cloud Foundation stack again, with the known vCenter, vSphere, vSAN, and NSXT in there. Notice another element in there is HCX. I'll come back on that one in a moment. You can connect to that environment from your data center through ExpressRoute or site-to-site VPN. And you can link that environment to your environment. And then you can migrate stuff to that environment and then combine the VMware-based workload with the cloud-native workloads running on Azure. I did mention the VMware HCX, stands for Hybrid Cloud Extension. That is a very interesting technology that allows us to help customers manage migrations between environments. It's technology that is available and that you can leverage for data center to data center migration, but also data center to cloud to cloud, whatever. It's one of these elements that help alleviates buyer of, well, my workload is running in this network on-prem, and I need to move it to the cloud, but I need to retain that network identity and keep that link on-site. I cannot afford downtime. How can I do all of that? Or I've got like a massive amount of VM. I need to migrate 1,000 VMs. HCX is a technology that helps with that. And by the way, if you purchase or consume that service from a cloud provider, it's included. So it's kind of like included in the price, so no cost for you. These are all elements that allow us to help you evolve your data center from the classic way, server virtualization, to hyper-converge, leveraging cloud resource, bridging the gap between those two and having a hybrid cloud approach. We've got a lot of technology available and advice available, and obviously I cannot talk about all of that in such a short session, but you will see and can find additional information going to cloud.vmware.com, and you have an overview there of all the services and possibilities. And if you are a more technical and hands-on person and you would like to play with some of that, may I remind you that we also have the hands-on labs, vmware.com, which is all the solutions that we have actually available to you to play with. It all runs virtual, so you can go in there, request, it's free of charge. You've got step-by-step guides, so no risk of doing something wrong. And if you do something wrong, just, end the lab, start a new one. We'll just recommission new virtual machines for you. And you can play and learn in that environment. And it's free of charge. So go and use it. With this, I would say, I hope this session was interesting to you. If any of that is of interest to you, or if you've got some challenges that you would like to get some insight from us upon, just reach out to your Xelos representative, salesperson, consultant, and ask them to bring that topic to the table, and maybe we can see each other again. Thank you very much for your time. Hope you have a good event. See ya.